Have you ever stared at a bag of coffee and seen a name like Ethiopian Yirgacheffe and just kind of wondered, what does that actually mean for how it's going to taste? Well, in this explainer, we're going to take a trip around the world to figure out how three giants of the coffee industry, Ethiopia, Indonesia, and Colombia, give us three totally different worlds of flavor in our cup.
I mean, it really all boils down to this one question, right? How can the exact same plant give you a cup that tastes like a basket of blueberries and another that's like, well, wet earth? It seems wild, but it's not magic. It's actually a story about place, and more importantly, about philosophy.
And that story really has three main characters, each with its own unique philosophy. You've got Ethiopia, which is all about aromatic complexity. Then there's Indonesia, which is chasing this incredibly heavy body. And finally, Colombia, the absolute master of perfect balance. So you see, these aren't just dots on a map. They're three competing ideas for what coffee should be.
Okay, so our first stop has to be the genetic birthplace of all Arabica coffee, Ethiopia. This is where it all started. Literally, coffee plants just grew wild in the forests here. And that amazing natural biodiversity, that's the secret sauce to its famously complex character.
So what does all that biodiversity taste like? Well, picture this, a really bright, vibrant acidity, almost like a crisp white wine. The body is super light, delicate, a lot of people call it tea-like. And the flavors, oh man, it's an explosion of florals like jasmine, all sorts of fruit like berries and peaches, and this really complex note of bergamot. You know, the flavor that makes Earl Grey tea taste like Earl Grey. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Ethiopia can give you two completely different coffees from the exact same beans. It all comes down to processing. On one side, you have the natural process. The bean dries inside the coffee cherry, soaking up all those sugars, and what you get is a wild, fruity blueberry bomb. But on the other side, with the wash process, they wash all that fruit off first. The result is a super clean, delicate floral cup. It's pretty amazing. One country, two totally different experiences.
And this really gets to the soul of what Ethiopian coffee is all about. It's not just something you drink for a caffeine hit. It's this fragrant, almost wine-like experience. You don't just drink it, you explore it.
All right, let's pack our bags and travel from the bright highlands of Ethiopia to the humid islands of Indonesia, home to the bold, earthy heavyweight of the coffee world. You know, if Ethiopia is all about that delicate elegance, Indonesia is its complete opposite. Deep, grounding, and just powerful. The flavor profile here is a 180-degree turn from Ethiopia. Forget high acidity. Here, it's super low, which gives it this really smooth, mellow feeling. The real star of the show, though, is the body. It is full, it's heavy, it's almost syrupy. And the notes? Intensely earthy and savory. We're talking about flavors like a forest floor after it rains, maybe some tobacco, leather, and rich, dark chocolate.
So what's the secret? How do they get this unique profile? Well, it's a special process called gilling basa, or wet hulling, and it was basically invented because of the region's humid climate. See, it's too wet to dry the coffee the normal way, so farmers take the protective shell off the bean while it's still really moist. This exposes the bean to the environment, and it soaks up all those signature earthy, funky characteristics and develops that incredible heavy body.
Yeah, it all comes together to create this one-of-a-kind, heavy-bodied experience. Indonesia is, for sure, the wild card of the coffee world. It's perfect for anyone who's looking for deep, savory notes instead of all that bright fruitiness.
Okay, so we've gone from the aromatic ancestor to the earthy wild card. Our final stop is Colombia. Now, this is the country that built its entire reputation on the opposite of being a wild card. We're talking consistency, quality, and just perfect balance. For a ton of people, this is the benchmark for a classic, great cup of coffee.
The flavor profile here is all about one word, harmony. You get a nice, bright acidity, but it's never going to punch you in the face. The body is right down the middle, perfectly rounded and creamy. And that beautiful balance lets all those delicious, approachable notes of caramel, hazelnut, and milk chocolate just sing. It's pretty much the dictionary definition of a well-balanced brew.
So, how do they nail that incredible consistency cup after cup? Well, they've mastered the wash process. Yep, the same one we saw back in Ethiopia. By removing the fruit before drying, they get rid of a lot of the variables. This ensures that clean, sweet, and perfectly balanced flavor comes through every single time. It's a total masterclass in technical perfection.
And this is exactly why people call Colombian coffee the gateway to specialty coffee. It's so approachable, it's always delicious, and it really represents this masterpiece of balance that just welcomes everybody in.
So, we visited these three incredible, distinct coffee worlds. Now for the big question, how do you choose the right one for you? Let's bring it all together so you can find your perfect cup.
Okay, this table right here, this is your ultimate cheat sheet. It sums up our whole journey. Just look at the philosophies. Ethiopia is all about the terroir, the land itself. Indonesia is defined by its unique process, and Colombia is striving for that perfect balance. And you can see exactly how that plays out in the cup. From the super high acidity in Ethiopia to the full syrupy body of Indonesia. The differences are just crystal clear when you see them side by side like this.
So, what are you in the mood for? If you want a sensory adventure, something that's going to surprise you and challenge what you think coffee can be, you got to grab an Ethiopian. If you're looking for a bold, deep cup that you can sip on slowly and just think, go for an Indonesian. And if you just want a reliably delicious, perfectly balanced brew that's great any time of day, a Colombian is always the right answer.
Still not sure? Okay, let's try some simple analogies. Think of an Ethiopian coffee like a really fine aromatic tea. It's complex, it's delicate, and it's all about that incredible fragrance.
Now, an Indonesian coffee, that's more like an aged brandy. It's heavy, it's deep, and it's something you want to savor really, really slowly. And what about Colombian coffee? Well, that's your favorite craft beer. It's perfectly balanced, totally approachable, and pretty much universally enjoyable.
And that's really the big takeaway here. The differences in your cup, they're not random. As you can see, they're the direct result of centuries of culture, of unique landscapes, and the deep connection between people and the coffee that they grow. So yeah, every coffee you drink tells a story of its home. A story of philosophy, a story of process, and a story of place. The only question left is, what story are you going to choose to drink tomorrow?